Selena Gomez's new documentary, Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me, premiered on Apple TV Plus on Friday, October 4, 2022. The musician is an open book in her new documentary. Selena Gomez, in full. Selena Marie Gomez, born July 22, 1992 in Grand Prairie, Texas, U.S., is an American singer, songwriter, actress, and producer. She is now set to candidly share her triumphs and setbacks with mental health. The 30-year-old singer and actress recently offered a raw look at her mental health in more detail than ever before in an interview with Rolling Stone. Gomez has put a lot of hard work into accepting and managing her bipolar disorder, but parts of that reality still sting years after her diagnosis. The singer began filming her documentary when she was 24 and continued through the COVID-19 pandemic and her mental health struggles. She said she's only seen the documentary a handful of times, and she struggled over whether to release it. The audience's reaction was emotional and impactful, and she just said, yes. The documentary is powerful and refreshing, including discussions about the musician's bipolar diagnosis, lupus, and mental health struggles. The film opens with old footage from Gomez's revival tour in 2016. After years in the limelight, Selena Gomez achieves unimaginable stardom. But just as she reaches a new peak, an unexpected turn pulls her into darkness. During rehearsals and while on the road, she is shown spiraling toward a mental health crisis that led her to cancel the tour after 55 performances. The clips show Gomez struggling with body image and insecurities about her music career. In one clip, Gomez's former assistant, Teresa Marie Mingus, says the singer didn't want to be alive during her tour. She had thoughts of suicide. It was one of those moments where you look in her eyes and there's nothing there, Mingus continued. It was just pitch black. And it's so scary. In the documentary, during a volunteer trip to Kenya in 2019, Gomez is shown opening up to a local nursing student about having thoughts of self-harm. The singer, 30, revealed she contemplated taking her own life for several years after battling psychosis, although she never attempted to end her life. I thought the world would be better if I wasn't there. Gomez added, I remind myself that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the psychotic break, if it wasn't for my lupus, if it wasn't for my diagnosis, she added later in the interview. I think I would just probably be another annoying entity that just wants to wear nice clothes all the time. I'm depressed thinking about who I would be. The singer and actress opened up about her early symptoms of bipolar disorder before she received a diagnosis. None of us knew what it was, she said. For a while, Gomez attributed her mental illness to her artistic struggles as she tried to shed her Disney image and become a more mature artist. Being single at 25 years old also facilitated distress. I grew up thinking I would be married at 25, Gomez said. It wrecked me that I was nowhere near that, couldn't be farther from it. It was so stupid, but I really thought my world was over. I never fit in with a cool group of girls that were celebrities. My only friend in the industry really is Taylor Swift, so I remember feeling like I didn't belong. I felt the presence of everyone around me living full lives. I had this position, and I was really happy, but was I? Do these materialistic things make me happy? I just didn't like who I was, because I didn't know who I was. I'm going to be very open with everybody about this. I've been to 4 treatment centers, Gomez said. I think when I started hitting my early 20s is when it started to get really dark, when I started to feel like I was not in control of what I was feeling, whether that was really great or really bad. She experienced a roller coaster of highs and lows that would go on for weeks or months. Selena was unable to determine what exactly led to the emotions either. There were also times Selena would be unable to sleep for days. Gomez added that she would go through bouts of mania, once feeling the need to buy everyone in her life a car. "I have a gift and I wanted to share it with people," she recalled of her thought process at the time. "Then it just was me not being able to move from my bed," she said. "I didn't want anyone to talk to me. My friends would bring me food because they love me, but none of us knew what it was. Sometimes it was weeks I'd be in bed, to where even walking downstairs would get me out of breath." Psychosis can last for an unpredictable amount of time. Selena revealed in 2015 that she had been diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease sometimes triggered by stress, and had gone through chemo to treat it. In 2017, Gomez underwent a life-saving kidney transplant that she needed as a result of her lupus. Actress and friend Francia Raisa was the donor. She spoke of possibly needing another donor in the future, as her donated kidney may only last for 30 years. "It's fine," she said. "I might be like, peace out, anyway." Her psychotic break landed her in a psychiatric hospital in 2018. She spent several months in treatment while experiencing paranoia and difficulty trusting those around her. She started hearing voices. Gomez's close friend Raquel Stevens also opened up about the confusion and pain she endured at the time. "We had to have a really serious conversation with her, of like, what is going on?" Her answer was also like, "I don't know. I can't explain it. I wish you could feel what it feels like to be in my head," Stevens said of Gomez. "I just remember it being very chaotic and she was hearing all of these voices," Stevens continued. "They just kept getting louder and louder and louder. That triggered some kind of psychotic break. If anybody saw what I saw, in the state that she was in at the mental hospital, they wouldn't have recognized her at all," Stevens said of Gomez. The superstar's mother, Mandy Teefey, added that Gomez's family found out about her mental breakdown through TMZ. "I was scared she was gonna die," Teefey said. "It's a miracle she got out. But there's always the fear that that's going to happen again, and it hurt us so much." Gomez reflected on her experience in the facility. "I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to go to a mental health hospital," she said. "But I didn't want to be trapped in myself, in my mind, anymore. I thought my life was over. I was like, this is who I'm gonna be forever." Gomez battled psychosis, and when she finally walked out of it, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Doctors immediately loaded her up with various medications, trying to figure out an appropriate cocktail. But medications also had a negative effect on her. It was just that I was gone. There was no part of me that was there anymore, Gomez said. Eventually, Gomez met a psychiatrist who told her that many of the medications she was taking were actually not needed. With the psychiatrist's help, Gomez began to detox off certain medications and felt herself coming back to a more stable place. "He really guided me, but I had to detox, essentially, from the medications I was on. I had to learn how to remember certain words. I would forget where I was when we were talking. It took a lot of hard work for me to A. accept that I was bipolar, but B. learn how to deal with it, because it wasn't going to go away." In April 2020, the musician visited McLean Hospital in Massachusetts, where she discussed her bipolar diagnosis publicly for the first time. "Recently, I went to one of the best mental hospitals in America, McLean Hospital, and I discussed that, after years of going through a lot of different things, I realized that I was bipolar," she said at the time. "And so when I go to know more information, it actually helps me. It doesn't scare me once I know it. I wanted to know everything about it, and it took the fear away. It's one of the best hospitals for their kind of covering everything in the mental health space. So, I was able to say my diagnosis out loud for the first time, she recalled. And it gave me such strength, and it wasn't easy. Selena Gomez reflected on her wish to have children and how that might look different than she imagined. She revealed she probably won't be able to carry her own children due to the 2 medications she takes for the bipolar disorder, and she doesn't plan to stop taking them to conceive a child. That's a very big present thing in my life. Although it's possible to get pregnant and breastfeed safely while taking psychiatric medication, some drugs used to treat bipolar disorder have been associated with an increased risk of birth defects in the first trimester. The potential defects include neural tube defects, heart defects, and developmental delay or neurobehavioral problems. Pregnancy may also increase the risk of a manic or depressive episode for people with bipolar disorder, especially if they choose to stop taking their medication. The painful realization weighed on her after she visited a friend who was trying to get pregnant and later broke down into tears in her car, because she's unlikely to go through that experience herself. However, I'm meant to have them, I will, Gomez added on the prospect of becoming a mom through other means in the years to come. Selena Gomez hopes she can help others with mental health initiative launched with Rare Beauty. If you or someone you know is experiencing depression or has had thoughts of harming themselves or taking their own life, get help and be connected to a certified crisis counselor, a mental hospital, a treatment center, or a psychiatrist. In the U.S., call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which provides 24/7, free, confidential support for people in distress, as well as best practices for professionals and resources to aid in prevention and crisis situations. Help is also available through the crisis text line. Just text HOME to 741741. But what exactly is bipolar disorder? And what is lupus, the autoimmune disease sometimes triggered by stress? Stay tuned. In our next videos, we will explain these 2 diseases.